America's backbone was built on blue-collar business grit, grind, and muscle. This is where you stop working for the business, and the business starts working for you.
Hey, Blue Collar Millionaires, Chris and I back again for another podcast. Today, I want you to kind of go through an exercise that my mentor took me through. Super interesting guy. I met him in 2014. I was not netting $1 million in sales there. I was over $500,000, I believe. And I told him that was my goal. I told Chris that when I gave him that goal, he wasn't very impressed by making $1 million profit a year for yourself. He wanted me to go much higher, but he said, well, if we're going to talk about 1 million, if that's all you want to talk about, it's going to be easy. Let's get into it. But one of the things he did in that conversation was he said, at the time I wasn't married and I didn't have kids, but we all get this analogy. He said, if you had 2 kids and a wife and I put them in a not so great apartment in Maine, USA. He used Maine because we're in Georgia, far away. And he said, it's not dangerous and they got some food and maybe they got internet and a TV, but not much else. And you cannot talk to them or go see them until you get 5 new customers. Not 5 leads, not 5 people who might want to do it, 5 people. You got scheduled jobs. You cannot talk to them or see them or bring them back from Maine until you do that. What would you do? So I told him exactly what I would do in my business, and it's the same as I would do today. Okay. It's go directly to them. For me, I have a way of doing it with email and being super specific and stacking it with value and being extremely specific about their complex, what we can do, properties that we do that are similar to that, neighboring things, and it gets a really good response. But I can think of other businesses, like when I had a landscaping business, I would have just knocked on doors in HOAs that I was already doing it. I would have knocked on doors. I would have given people prices. I would have told them I'm doing the Sullivans and the McKenzies down the street. We're here every Wednesday. Can I walk around your property? Can I give you a price? Then I would go back. I did this anyway. I would knock on their door and I'd say, hey, it's going to be $40. Can we come next Wednesday? How does that sound to you? I would ask for the sale right then and I would get direct with it. Okay. And if I would keep knocking on doors till I got 5 people and got my kid home. Okay.
And you don't even have to be polished. Like I think you don't have to be trained on sales to do that. You're just asking for it and you'll end up getting some yeses because you're actually asking.
And another thing he told me was something Zig Ziglar. I read a book about going belly to belly sales with 20 people. That's when I started doing it. I was like 18 years old. I read that book and he was basically saying, if you go knock on 20 business owners' doors, 20 houses, this is back in the 90s. He says, if you go in there and even if you suck, you're going to be successful. If you do that 5 days a week, you're going to get sales. It's impossible not to. You're going belly to belly. So he told me something similar. He said, you know what, Kevin, what you're doing, gutter cleaning, a monkey could do it. If a monkey goes up into these complexes or emails or calls them and he gets a little bit better each day, he's going to get deals. And I mean, I didn't take offense to that because it's not, we're not selling some super complicated stuff. Can I do this? So what in your business would you do if that was your scenario? Let's just talk what you wouldn't do. You wouldn't be doom scrolling on Facebook. You wouldn't be doing forecasting in the middle of the day on some numbers. You wouldn't be answering emails because somebody just sent you an email and you stopped exactly what you were doing. You would be super stringent on your time. You would go in a direct line. You wouldn't go around. You wouldn't say, hey, you know what I'll do? I'll watch a video on YouTube about learning how to do Facebook ads that I'm never going to do myself. You would either hire somebody to do it or you would look at all your sales and you would say, hey, what's my fastest point from A to B to get 5 more sales? And you would do it. That's what we all should be doing. We confuse activity with productivity. And I was fortunate my whole life. I just had that. I wanted to make money. I was on my own early on, not that I didn't have great parents. My father died of cancer and I had I was out there in the thing and I had to make money and I wanted to be a success too. I didn't go to college on my own choice and I was not taking any days off. That would have given me anxiety to be sitting around doing nothing. And back then we didn't have the same distractions of social media, the
Yeah.
internet, Apple phones. So it was very easy, but I was out there banging on doors, talking to people, making shit happen.
It's a skill
Chris,
set.
what would you do? And what do you think of that?
Well, I would repeat what I've already done because I know it works, and that's the belly to belly. I would target my commercial customers because there's not as much resistance, especially nowadays. People get weirded out when you walk up to the residence, and I don't have to worry about are they home or not. So I would target commercial immediately. And let's my core business when I did that was floor cleaning. So I just get on the busiest street that I know has a lot of retail sales because I understand that money's flowing into their doors. And I walk in and I ask for the decision maker. And then I ask permission to give them, I ask them if they currently have someone that takes care of it. Then I ask for permission. And then I sit there and I write a quote up. And then I ask them, what do they think about it? Because I want to know feedback right then. Because it's just like you said earlier, Kevin, I'm there to close something. I'm not there to leave a booklet behind, a quote behind for them to set on their desk and it get covered up by other pieces of paper and they get thrown in the trash. I'm there to create a need in that moment because they need me. You've got feet walking on the floors, dirtying it up, and someone has to take care of that. And if you're going to keep your sales high, you're going to have an inviting business. So I understood what their need was. I understood they had money, so I went to the right areas where they had consumer sales taking place, and then I would literally ask permission, quote, and then I would try to put them on the calendar. And then as soon as I had one on that strip, and this is exactly how it happened. When I first started my business, I went door to door on the main strip around the mall where all of the consumer activity took place during the week and on the weekends. And I'm going during the week. And after I got my first calendar booking, before I even cleaned the floors, the next person I said, we do O'Charlie's down the road, and we would love the opportunity to add you to our customer list so that you can have as good a looking floors as they are going to. And it wasn't all super polished up, but at that point, it was giving social proof because I was
Mhm.
name dropping and they think, well, if they're using it, then if they're using you, then you must be okay. And I just went door to door and I know I could close 5 in a day easily if I went door to door. And I would do it until I would do it until I had 5. And if I didn't get 5 for some reason that day, then I would show up as soon as the doors opened up the next. And here's what happens. People don't believe that these efforts are actually going to work. When you're standing in someone's face asking permission to do something, people don't like to say no. Very few people out there want to say no. And they also you stand out because everybody else is doing the mailers. Everybody else is doing the SEO marketing. Nobody else is in their face asking for the sale. So you set yourself apart and you're going to have a higher percentage of getting that job when you do that.
So I love that too. So all these things, SEO, they're great things. Keep doing them. Nobody's saying do them, but they're not taking you any time. They're basically set it and forget it. Those leads are coming in on their own, or you're sending out mailers. We're talking of what's the most direct thing and what can you really control? How do I control my outcome to get my family home on that? So the other question he asked behind that, he says, what are you closing on your proposals now? And whatever the number was then, let's just say it was 34%. So he's like, okay, you're closing 1 out of 3. So now here's the second part. I need you on your next 20 proposals to get to 50%. You got to close 10 of them. Or again, you can't bring your family home. You're not going to send the same proposal. What would you do to that proposal to improve it? So, what would you layer in there to make it better? And you can use that the same for leads because if you're talking to that person at the lead and they're not really interested in getting a price on getting their lawn cut or getting their carpet cleaned, what else can you stack in there while you're talking to them to make it very hard to them to say no, so you can get that proposal. So that might be you give something away, or you, if I'm doing the lawn, hey, we're here today. We will do your lawn for no charge today, and I'll sign you up for the rest of the month at the $40 thing. Would you like that? Because my guys are down the street. We can come up here. We'll do your thing. So I'm not saying go in there giving it away, but I have all these things behind it. Like I I want to create that urgency in myself. For me, it was just I want money. But for if we all can use that analogy, I need to get my family home. You wouldn't just take a no for that. You would come in with another offer. And you wouldn't do it in a desperate way. You would say, hey, we're down the street. We can come. We could do it right now. There's no cost. I want to show you what it looks like when we're done.
You're taking the risk away. You're giving them a sample.
I am making a risk. So I used to do that when I walked in on associations. And I would say, hey, you got stuff all over your clubhouse. I'm here. We're here right now. I got my van out here. It's driving me nuts. Let me do it for nothing. I just want to show you what it looks like. I got a lot of people to say yes. And yes, I did get people who said, what? You're going to do it for nothing? Why do you want to do that? No. Like, I didn't care because I'm there and it would take me 10, 15 minutes. I'd literally change in the car and go get it. And when I got it, I got so many contracts off that. I elevated myself because I'm there. Why not get it? So you got to have these levels of stacking offers. And then when you're doing that proposal, Chris, what would you do to stack your proposal if you had to get 10% more in the month of May? If you don't do that, what would you do?
I'm gonna break my process down into steps, and I'm gonna look at what step inside of that process I can label as free. You're already doing it because you're wanting a high quality job. You're wanting a high quality result at the end of your service, so you can get a raving review. So if you sit there and let's say the pressure washing guy is going to sit there and he's going to protect anything that doesn't need to get chemical on it. Then he's going to pre-treat. Then he's going to rinse, and you could break it into even more steps than that. So if I've got those steps right there, I'm going to just advertise that you get free pre-treatment. Your customer is not an expert. You're the expert. So just break your service into steps and then take one step out and call it free. Now you're stacking value. For me, if I'm cleaning carpet, my pre-treatment is my free. If I'm cleaning a duct vent, my camera inspection, because that's part of our process, I'm going to call it free camera inspection with cleaning. Now I'm stacking the value. But dude, I'll give away the first one for free because now I'll sit there and use them as a testimony. How about this? I really want to clean your floors, Mr. O'Charlie's. If you'll let me clean this one for free, because I know you need it monthly, in the anticipation that you like my job and I get the opportunity to come out next month, I'll clean it for free today. But for this free cleaning, I would like the opportunity to use your name as a reference for any other customers I'm trying to sign up today. And better yet, if you'll give me a quick testimony on video from my phone. Most people would do that. I'm getting aggressive because I'm hungry. I've used this analogy before. I will go dumpster diving when I'm hungry. When I'm not hungry, I'm not jumping in a dumpster and eating old bread. But when I'm starving, I'm going to jump in a dumpster. And we need to act like we're starving every day, because if you don't, you will end up starving in business.
What did you say about the average business owner and how long till they overdraft? What is
the average? There's a statistic out there. 81% of small business owners are 2 weeks away from overdrafting their business bank account. 2 weeks. That means they don't have enough leads coming in. It's not they don't have a recruiting problem. They don't have an operation problem. They don't have enough work problem. That's the problem. And it's because their activities are not generating leads. And it's because they're hoping someone's going to hop on the internet when they need their service and they're going to call you. Instead of going out there proactively and asking people for the work. First thing I would do if I'm needing leads, I'm picking up my contact list and I'm calling everybody on my list. I'd call up Kevin. I'd say, Kevin, hey man, I'm trying to grow the company right now. And I just wanted to make sure that you knew what I provided as a service. And I wanted to know, do you need any of these services? And if you don't, is there anyone that you know that might need these services? I'm gonna drop my ego, take some humility, and I'm going to reach out to everybody in my network.
I, I'm going to give you some blunt info, not for Chris, but for everybody. But most people who don't have leads, it's the number one post we see. We need leads. It's all stuff. If we posted that, the whole entire Facebook group would be filled with that. Everybody would be sick of it. I mean, it might come in 12 times a day, and we probably put 2 a week. And it's always the same guy. Here's the characteristics of it. They try to do things for free, Facebook ads. Nobody's calling me. It's always some path of least resistance. They want to put it on their Facebook. They want to do Craigslist. I never see a guy come in there and say, "Hey man, I'm knocking on 40 doors a day. And I've been doing that for 3 months and I cannot get anybody to let me do roofs or gutters or because they wouldn't be on there." First of all, they're not on Facebook because they'd be doing that. They always have leads. So it's what they're really saying in the lead is in that post is, "Hey, I don't really want to do the hard stuff. And I don't really want to invest in myself and my business and money. So I'm trying to do this free shit. It's not really working. Can you guys give me any ideas, some magic pill that I can do where I don't actually have to get my hands dirty that might be free?" That's what I read in that. And that's what I watched guys in my 20s. I was the guy knocking on doors, walking in on complexes for gutters. I was super aggressive. Some of my friends, I would have a beer with them. They would literally go weeks and not be getting new customers. It was bizarre to me. I literally had more every time we had a beer on Friday night, and I would tell them about it if they wanted to listen to it. And they knew I was doing stuff. So you have to be out there doing it. And then here's one other thing. So I had a guy who worked for me. He left and he went to go start his own gutter business. And he used to text me. This is back in like 2016 or 15. And he used to text me, "Man, it's hard, man. It's hard getting leads, man." He would tell me this. And then I remember one time I was pulling into LA Fitness and I saw him leaving. I beeped my horn. I didn't get a hold of him. Like 3 days later, I go in there and I see him in there. It's like 10 in the morning. And you could say, "Well, why are you there, Kevin?" "Well, I was making millions of dollars, so I can go to LA Fitness." And I said to him, "What the hell are you doing here at 10 in the morning?" He says, "Well, I don't have any jobs today." So I said, "So go get jobs. Go do LA Fitness at 9 o'clock at night." Like he was sitting over there scrolling, listening to music, trying to have a conversation and bitching to me. "What are you doing? And get going." I literally was going to kick him out of LA. I said, "And this isn't the first time I saw you here a couple of weeks ago. You were walking out. I beeped at you." I said, "This is what you do?" And then he says, "Oh, I think it was raining that day." And I remember saying, "Good. That's when you knock on doors. That's when you go." I loved walking in on complexes when it was raining. They always had something for me. "Yeah, building 18, we have this issue." I said, "I'll go check it out for you."
If you'll walk in for a sales call when it's raining, then that gives the impression you're a hustler. And people like to employ hustlers. People like to hire other businesses that hustle, that are willing to do whatever it takes. So I think the recap of this, Kevin, is a simple fact that go do the work. If you don't have it, then you need to ask yourself, what activities am I doing every single day until I get the results I'm trying to get? Because if you're not changing up your habits and your activities, then why do you expect to have a different result? It's just not going to happen. And get in, go be proactive, get in the face. Like if you need leads, cold call. If you need leads, door knock. If you need leads, do whatever it takes to where you're reaching out to them. You're not waiting for them to reach out to you.
And then next week, we're going to talk about tracking the sales, how important it is to know exactly what to do. I'm going to give you real live examples in different business, how much I tracked them. And some of this I was doing back in a notebook back in the day when there was no phones. And I had an old PC in 1996. I'm going to tell you how detailed I got in that and how that gives you confidence, strength, and power to do it. And the last thing I want to say, there's a guy, Mike Aguilera, he sold a gold medal plumbing and heating for $32 million. I love he had a post last Saturday and he says, if you're not grossing $1 million, why are you taking Saturday off? You don't deserve to. And you could say, Kevin, what the hell are you talking about? I deserve it on the weekend. And maybe that's true, but you're not going to be a blue collar multimillionaire if you're doing that. Maybe you're going to be one of those blue collar 2 weeks out in your overdraft. Don't take weekends off if you don't get to those sales. Maybe $1 million's a little thing, but I mean, if you don't have enough leads packed for 2 weeks, don't take days off. Get going. You'll get to the time where you have free time, but it's 100% on you. You can completely control leads by effort. See you guys
look,
next
week. If you're looking for these strategies, y'all check out Accelerator, our blue collar millionaire accelerator, $79 a month.
Crazy.
You got courses, modules, trainings, all in there, self-paced access, and then you get me and Kevin twice a month. If you're wanting for a higher level where you got more access to me and Kevin, where we deep dive into your business and we help you get over your hurdles, then check out Boardroom Elite. You can find all of this on bluecollarmillionaire.net, bluecollarmillionaire.net. And those are the two opportunities we have for you guys that are paid for. If you're just looking for a group where you can be a part of a community for free, then make sure you're part of the Blue Collar Millionaire Facebook group.
Yeah. Last part is bluecollarmillionaire.net for accelerator, $79 a month. Chris and I talk about only stuff that we did and works. So we're talking about that here. But if you go in there and you just follow 1 out of 20 things we say, you actually implement it and you do it, you're going to make a lot of money. The $79 is a wash. How much cheaper can we get? It's not even $20 a week. We're losing money on it. We got a team setting it up. We're trying to help you guys make money. If you're on a higher level, you want to do things, get in the Boardroom Elite. Then you're going to have access to us. We're going to do things like we're bringing on a guy who's an expert at getting facilities. That's what he does. He worked on the inside. He has a course on it. I met him, became friendly with him. I'm going to bring him on there. He's going to teach us step by step how to do it. If people implement what he says, they're going to make a ton of money. That's the whole idea of what we teach. Easier, less stress, make a lot more money. If it's up to you if you're going to implement it or not. Yep. See you next week.